Okay, I haven't posted a YouTube video in a very long time, since about November. So the project I've been working on lately, and I plan on adding more microprocessor stuff to it, automation of control for the watering and everything, has been this aquaponics my wife and I wanted to do. She really saw when she went to Disney World earlier this year and thought, well, late last year actually, and thought, hey, this is something I could do. And when she asked me about it, I said, hey, that sounds like fun. I can automate it. So we haven't got to the automation part. When I get to that, I'm looking at either using a Raspberry Pi or an Arduino, depending on what I want to do. But what we have right now is we have a fish tank down here that we haven't put fish in. That's our next step for Monday. But it still kind of does what we want the fish tank to do, to act as a reservoir for the water. And then the first stage is it comes up this hose right here and comes out right there that we have controlled on a flow. I can actually turn on the pump for a second to show what's going on here. So you can see the water just comes out there at a nice, easy, steady flow. Fills up the garden, and then once it gets to a certain point, it goes down the drain here. I'm going to kind of wait for it to start happening. Once it gets down the drain and starts going down the drain comes down to this pipe here that feeds into these sand buckets. Or, well, you can see that they're windowsill flower pots that we put some pods in. The whole point is we want to try to grow radishes, and you have some back there, and some beets and carrots. But we've had an interesting thing happen where only this half is growing and this half isn't. We're not sure what's happened there, if the seeds floated away when we first started this or what. But we planted carrots up here in the front, and what we plan on doing is dropping the pods down in the sand afterward so the carrots have more area to grow. But then underneath here, we have a bank that catches it from little holes that we drilled underneath. And to help start the aquaponics off, let me remove that, we put some moss, you can't really see it, and some duckweed that we picked up the canyon to start helping to grow. Now you can see the lighting that we have here. I went on Amazon and we found some UVB and UVA lights that are grow lights to help facilitate the grow. We have some up there above this one, and we have one inside this pot. We plan on hanging this one once it gets going on further. Let me really show what they look like. And then with this one, we're going to keep it there. My wife had the smart idea to attach it using a magnet, and I thought, hey, she's smart. Let me use a hard drive magnet that I had laying around. And then we bought them in a long strip, and I went along and soldered these new connector ends. They're just your standard barrel jack connector on it to make it really easy to modularize it. And we put it on wood so we can use it for other setups. If we move, it's really easy to take apart. We don't have to worry about desoldering it. And they're nice and small and fit perfectly over the top of these totes. So that's the project so far. The next step would be to automate it. For kind of an automation that we've done is we got these little switcher things from Harbor Freight for Christmas lights, and now we hook the two pumps up to them. And we have this little key fob here to turn them on and off, and we usually try to remember to water them, to run the water once in the morning and once at night. When we get fish, we got to do it more often to help keep the tank clear from contaminants from the fish. But one of the issues we have is that the pump drains it pretty fast, and to also kind of help keep the tank aerated. We might actually end up having to put a bubbler on it because this system, the pump's kind of big. We've had to go to a bigger pump to get it up this height, but we're looking at ways to slowing down the flow of the pump and making sure we don't suck the tank dry and have the fish on dead ground. But that's the aquaponics system so far. Expect updates in the future for those who are actually following this channel, which I know are a few. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'll get back on and get back to the comments. But this is the project in what I'd like to call Phase 1. I'll give an update video explaining the next couple phases that we want to do.